Hello, my favorite YouTube visitors. In this video we'll test which mage hero deals the highest amount of damage. Let's start with setting up some rules and test environment. Today we'll test which mage hero deals the highest burst damage. So let's first skip the mages that deal continuous damage, heroes we can't measure well, and other heroes we don't want in this comparison vid. That leaves us with the following heroes. To make the comparison fair, I'll choose the same build on each hero. We use the following items since this build is the best to test the maximum amount of burst damage. Note that this build often isn't the best build on the featured heroes, so take this in consideration. We also wait 5 minutes after buying the Clock of Destiny to get the full benefits of this item. But don't worry, I'll cut off the waiting time for you. I also choose the custom mage emblem set with points in magic power, percentage magic power and the burning effect to get the damage up as much as possible. I think we're good to go, so let's move on to the training camp and let's test the first hero. So Alice is first on my list. She actually isn't a high burst damage hero, but I want to include her anyway. Her damage really depends on how long she can use her ultimate against an enemy. So her first and second skill combined deals 5.1k damage, and each hit from her ultimate adds like 800 damage. So let's say she hits an enemy 6 times on average, we have a total damage of 9.9k for Alice. Not that great, but she deals great area of effect damage and is a more continuous damage hero. Next we have Nana, which in my opinion is more a support hero, but let's test her anyway. We need to start with skill 2, since it lowers the magic defense of the target. So her damage reaches 16k with 2 of the 3 hits from her ultimate. It would be another 4.3k if you manage to hit the enemy 3 times. But I feel you don't hit targets 3 times that often. But let's add that number also. This gets Nana to the first position. Then Bane is next, which usually gets built with a physical damage setup. But he can also be a mage, so let's just test it. 11.6k, which is not bad in my opinion, but I suggest you play him as a physical damage based hero. Bane is currently the second best one. Eudora is next, and I'm really curious what kind of damage she can deal. We need to start with her second skill, so the other two can benefit from her passive. 60.5k, which gets her right at the first spot. Next up on the list is Gord, and this can be a tricky one to measure right. That's because his second skill and ultimate can deal damage often, but it doesn't happen often that a hero receives the full damage. So if you manage to fully hit those 2 skills, his max damage is 27.6k. Let's adjust this to a bit more than 50%, which seems more realistic. I say 15k damage, which still is great for Gord and gets him at the 3rd place. Kagura is next, which has a great combo. Her combo deals 80.5k damage if you manage to fully hit the target with her skills. I think this number is quite realistic, so let's add it on our list, which gets Kagura at the first spot. Then we test Cyclops, which can also deal a lot of damage against a single target with his second skill. However, he's definitely a continuous damage hero. His combo deals 15.6k, which is quite high in my opinion. Take note that this build isn't the best one for him, because it adds only 20% cooldown reduction. Nevertheless, he places himself at the 4th spot. Aurora is the next one, and this is a true high burst damage hero. We need to freeze the target and then use her other 2 skills to get the maximum amount of damage. Therefore, we need to cast her ultimate first, freeze with skill 2 and then cast skill 1. This way they all benefit from her passive effect. Her damage totals at 60.3k. Which is great in combination with her freeze and gets her to the 3rd spot. Vexana is next, which is also quite hard to measure because of her ultimate. The initial damage of her 3 skills is 9.9k and then her spawn can hit the target as well. Let's say it hits 3 times on average, which gets her damage to 15.3k, while her maximum is 24.3k. Vexana deals currently the 5th highest damage. Harley is next, and I'm really curious what his total damage is. He only has 2 damage skills, but combined it deals a great amount of damage. 31.4k damage from his combo, which is huge. His first skill only deals 8.3k damage. Harley is the new number 1 with 31.4k damage. Another hero that promises to deal great amounts of damage is Odette. This is all because of her ultimate, but we need to adjust her damage since it's not that likely you deal the full amount of damage against the enemy. So her max damage is 36k, but I think we should include only 2/3 of the damage in our list. That leaves her with 24k damage, right at the 2nd spot, which is really great since she has a stun and deals area of effect damage. Next, we have Zhask. His spawn deals a lot of damage. He has a maximum of 55.2k if you cast all his skills and ultimate abilities on a target. This of course isn't really realistic, and I think we only take 30% of the damage, so it's more in the expected range of his damage. Let's put Zhask on the 4th spot with 16.6k damage. Chang'e is next, and I don't know if she should be labeled as a burst damage hero or a continuous damage hero. Nevertheless, she deals 42.9k damage, which in my opinion is quite bursty. However, we have to deduct an amount, since it's almost certain you won't fully hit her ultimate. I think we should only take 40% of this amount, so her damage is 70.2k. Right below Kagura on the 4th spot. Not bad at all. Next, we have an assassin, Selena. I'm also quite curious what damage she deals when unleashing her full combo on an enemy. $20k. Combined with the longest stun time of all heroes, this is a great result. Selena is placed on the 3rd spot, right above Odette. Then Vale can finally show his strength. To test his maximum, I have to choose the 3 upgrades that increase his damage. His damage gets up to 20.5k. This is really high in my opinion, since all his skills deal area of effect damage, so multiple heroes can receive this damage. I'm sorry Selena, your time at the 2nd spot was minimal. Kadita is the following hero we'll test. I also expect a lot from this assassin mage. So her max damage is 45.1k. However, I think we should deduct an amount, since you don't often hit her full ultimate. Let's lower it with 25%, so her damage is 33.8k, which makes her the new number 1. I never want to hear again that Kadita isn't an assassin. Cecilion really is more a continuous damage hero, but he can also deal a lot of damage, so let's just include him into the list. Because we test the heroes at full power, I've gathered around 300 stacks, which is quite reasonable in late game. His damage with this amount of stacks gets him 40.7k damage, which isn't bad for a continuous damage hero. 14.7k gets Cecilion at spot 14. 4 heroes left, and one of them is Valentina. Her combo is quite hard to measure, since it really depends on what kind of ultimate she steals, but we'll test it with her first 2 skills. Her first 2 skills do a total of 80.5k damage. That's a fine result, which gets her to place 6, with the same damage as Kagura. Xavier should also be tested, however he's also a continuous damage hero. To find out his max damage, we need to get his passive to stage 3 and then unleash his skills. $13k with only 3 skills. Not bad at all. He can cast his skills quite often, so his DPS should be really high. However, this list is about the burst damage, so with 13k, Xavier is the 16th best hero. The next hero we'll test is Julian. His first skill deals the highest damage, so we end with that one to get the maximum amount of damage. Not only his skills deal high damage, but also his basic attack after his combo. So let's just add 3 basic attack hits to his combo. Without that last hit, Julian's damage totals on 20.7k. This gets Julian at the 3rd spot, right above Vale. The very last hero we need to test is Pharsa. She's also a hero that's able to deal a big amount of damage with her skills. So the combo of her first 2 skills deals 7k damage and her ultimate deals 4.2k damage each hit. Let's say she managed to hit 3 times on average. This gets her damage to 90.6k. So we have the list complete and find Kadita at the 1st spot, Harley 2nd and Odette as the 3rd best hero. 2 of the 3 assassins are in the top 3, which is something we could expect. Odette also deals a lot of damage, but she gets countered easily by CC. She's definitely a great pick when the enemy team chooses heroes with no CC skills. Harley can deal a lot of damage when he uses his combo. His damage with only his first skill is significantly lower, but he's a perfect hero to take down the damage dealers. Then we have Kadita, who deals the most amount of damage with her combo. This can have any squishy hero killed easily, if she managed to hit her skills right. Take note that we've used a build with a focus on damage on a bot without magic defense. For most heroes, you pick other kind of items, so the damage in practice is a lot lower. Still, this list provides us with insight in which hero is able to deal a lot of damage. I've also tested this for the marksman heroes. So if you want to know which marksman is the strongest, also check that video. Which role should I test next? Let me know in the comment section. I hope you've learned something in this video. As always, thank you for watching and I'll be seeing you again in the next guide.
What could be more fun?